Today, I want to remind you about the inevitable harmful effects of caffeine on human health. As you know, recently, all sorts of different types of coffee have appeared. At the core of all this lies business. Because it's driven by business, even if it's a famous company, their main focus in production is on chemistry. Nowadays, coffee beans that can be grown and harvested directly in the field have become very rare, because for them, artificial methods are more convenient to keep more profit and income. If you've paid attention, 2 years ago the coffee from a certain company tasted one way, but now it tastes completely different, meaning it has lost its quality. As a result, all coffees end up having a high amount of caffeine in them. That's why, most of the time, the main reason for drinking coffee is to feel a bit more alert, to get hooked on it, and even if just a little, to boost your mood and, as it increases blood circulation, to improve your overall well-being. No one drinks coffee just for its healing properties. The main reason people drink coffee, for example, is to feel energized in the morning before going to work, or to perk up before heading to class. Some people even drink it at home. At work, it helps fight off drowsiness. At work, tiredness leads to sleepiness. So what's the first thing people do? They either grab an energy drink or have some coffee. There are also plenty of people among us who regularly drink 2, 3, even 4 cups a day. First of all, when caffeine enters the body and is consumed regularly, it causes calcium to be washed out of the body. Because caffeine binds to calcium during metabolism and removes it from the body, people who regularly drink coffee gradually develop a calcium deficiency in their bodies. As a result, these people's bones become brittle. The mineral content in their bones decreases. One of the first signs is that lately, people like this start to get cavities in their teeth. If you look at the teeth of someone who has been drinking coffee for a year, you'll see they have cavities. If you pay attention to yourself, you'll notice that lately, even when you bite into something a bit harder, your teeth are becoming so brittle that they can break. Regularly drinking coffee causes calcium to be washed out of the body. Secondly, it causes dependency. The caffeine in coffee makes a person addicted to it. This isn't good either. If you pay attention, you'll see that many students, especially girls, can't function properly in class without coffee. Kids too. Because coffee and cola contain caffeine, they cause psychological dependence, and your body also gets used to them physically. If you don't drink it, your energy drops and you're not in a good mood. You feel uneasy, as if something in your life has fallen into a slump. They start thinking, I just have to drink it, and their mind becomes fixated on it. We wouldn't be wrong to call this a mild form of psychological disorder. Because of the dependence, such people get used to coffee more and more, become attached to it, consume it in larger amounts, and keep going. Next, as we all know, we almost never drink coffee with less than 2 teaspoons of sugar. Of course, sugar is added. Let's admit it, among us, whoever drinks coffee, drinks it with sugar. Whether it's coffee with milk or without, you still add sugar to your coffee. So, who here adds sugar to their coffee? Admit it. Just write it down. Let everything be honest. How many teaspoons do you add? Write it in the comments. Actually, the daily recommended amount is just 1 teaspoon of sugar, so don't go over that, and even then, try not to have it if you can. But when they say not allowed, in medicine it actually means 1 teaspoon is okay. Because even sugar itself is harmful to the blood. But does someone who drinks coffee add 2 teaspoons of sugar to their morning coffee? And then add another 2 teaspoons later on, and after that, maybe even another one. How much sugar did this person end up consuming in a single day? Think about that, 6 teaspoons. This person is consuming 6 teaspoons of sugar. That's an extremely harmful dose. People like this start to suffer double the harm because they unknowingly consume more sugar with their coffee. Their blood thickens, and their blood sugar levels are always high. Their blood becomes sticky and viscous, and their immunity drops. And here's another harm. Coffee makes you crave and consume this white, refined sugar along with it. Next, almost 70 to 80% of people drink coffee on an empty stomach. In the morning, before eating, they quickly make themselves a cup with milk or without milk, it doesn't matter. If they smoke a cigarette along with it, that's a wild double whammy. There are people among us who have harmed themselves with such habits, fallen ill, and are suffering from incurable diseases, so I am sharing this information as a preventive measure to raise your awareness. When coffee is drunk on an empty stomach, the first thing it does is inflame the stomach. It causes ulcers in the duodenum and intestines. Recently, among many patients, especially young people, non-specific ulcerative lesions have started to appear in the intestines. These diseases arise as a result of consuming such drinks. There are these serious diseases where the rectum, colon, and large intestine develop ulcers that do not heal and do not respond to medication. The main cause of non-specific ulcerative colitis is drinking these kinds of chemical and colored beverages on an empty stomach. So, drinking coffee on an empty stomach is even more harmful to the body, especially to the stomach, and there are even people who have developed cancer or tumors because of it. If you look at patients who are undergoing various endoscopic examinations, there are so many people suffering from illnesses with no cure for their pain just because they drank strong tea or strong coffee on an empty stomach. Drinking coffee on an empty stomach turns out to be even more harmful. Another harmful effect is that after drinking coffee, a person will definitely crave a cigarette, either right after or soon after. The effect of coffee lasts, on average, for 12 hours. This is why people end up staying awake all night, restlessly scrolling through Instagram, then TikTok, then something else, then Telegram, and so on. They don't even realize what kind of information they're actually consuming or looking at. As a result of the coffee's effect, sleep disappears. Basically, their eyes are wide open like light bulbs, and no matter what they do, they just can't fall asleep. Even if they turn off all the lights and use those special sleep masks, it might not work for someone who has had coffee. So, what did I just say? People who regularly consume coffee end up disrupting their normal sleep patterns and won't be able to sleep on time. Because of sleeping less and going to bed late, even more problems start to arise, beyond just the harm from caffeine itself. Now I officially understand the issue. So, for almost 80 to 90% of people who drink coffee, their sleep at night gets disrupted. They end up not being able to sleep on time anymore. Among you, there are brave ones who recognize, notice, and feel these symptoms in themselves. Go ahead and write about it. See, look, there are some of you who are thinking, yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. Another bad side of coffee is that it has a diuretic effect. Besides that, it can aggravate urinary and sexual diseases. Cystitis, prostatitis, these issues just won't go away, even with medication. People who regularly drink coffee often experience inflammation of the prostate or cystitis. This means that some chemical substances in coffee make the body flush out fluids more frequently. As a result, even if someone has an overactive bladder, they end up constantly looking for a restroom. If you pay attention among us, in markets or shops, you'll notice that among people who drink a lot of coffee, there are many who are always looking for a restroom first. Before leaving the house, they go to the bathroom. People who drink coffee need to urinate frequently. So what does this lead to? They go to work. On the way to work, halfway there, they're already looking for a restroom. Or if they go to a guest's house, the first thing they do is look for the bathroom and go in. Then they sit down, and after half an hour, they feel the urge again. Both men and women can aggravate and develop cystitis or prostatitis, basically activating these diseases without any medication. This, in turn, is also considered harmful to oneself. There is something called the adrenal gland. The adrenal gland sits right above the kidney. This gland produces various hormones. Because this gland is harmed by coffee, our hormonal balance gets disrupted. One of the first signs that hormone levels have changed due to coffee consumption, in both women and men, is that your feet start to feel cold. When the adrenal hormones are affected and the adrenal gland is damaged, hormones are produced incorrectly. This is also one of the harms of coffee. Later on, this can lead to various heart diseases. People who regularly drink coffee may start experiencing angina and heart palpitations. Because when you consume coffee, there is a sharp constriction of the blood vessels at such a critical moment. If it happens inside, if there is a place inside where it can be satisfied, the walls of the vessel have muscles on the sides. As a result of the sudden contraction or sudden relaxation of these muscles, people develop cardiovascular diseases. This is why coffee raises blood pressure, because it specifically narrows these blood vessels. Because of this constant pressure on the heart, cardiovascular diseases and ischemic heart diseases can deliberately arise as a result of coffee consumption. So, just for the sake of those two benefits, slightly boosting your mood or making you feel a bit more alert, we shouldn't forget all these harms of coffee. So, these are the main negative aspects of coffee that I wanted to share with you today. If you found this information useful and understandable, I'm glad. By providing you with such information, I hope you'll draw the right conclusions. Take care of yourself until we meet again in the next episodes. If you want me to provide information about other drinks like this, protect your health and take care of yourself. Bye, and let me remind you once again, whether it's on the internet or elsewhere, never trust any advertisement that uses Dr. Iskanov's photo, video, or audio. If you see such ads, just write that those who post them are scammers. Don't trust them. Don't fall for the tricks and scams of these greedy black crows.